Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Wait a minute.
Wait
What's
a minute.
about? What? Hey.
I wasn't even surprised about that. I was like, wait,
So when you see your girlfriends, that's how you greet your girlfriends. I'm all excited to see my girls, and y'all like, hey. Hey, girl. Hey, what's poppin'? What's up?
Hey, girl. What's that?
Hey.
Y'all whack. Come on, Beth. Let me get a hey, girl. Hey. Let me get a hey, girl. Hey, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Hey, girl. Come on, girl. Come on.
Beth Pittinger is the executive director of the Citizens Police Review Board here in Pittsburgh. I'm happy to say that we became friends pretty much. I reached out to her, she reached back, and we kind of, have conversations, answering questions and getting feedback. And I appreciate you saying yes to the invite of being a part of our podcast. Those of you who just listened in, just tuned in, I'm your radio chick, Kiki Brown. Who's up first?
And I am the chatter chick, LaShawn Tipton.
And I am y'all millennial chick, Jerry Tipton.
What your name is, little girl?
I am the guest OG millennial. Portia Foxx.
And again, we have our guest, the OG millennial. I called her seasoned millennial earlier. The seasoned millennial. And we have Beth Pittinger, who's the executive director of the Citizens Police Review Board. Thank you again, Beth, for being a part of the show today.
Thanks for inviting me. This is grand.
So the second half will be all you, but you are welcome to chime in on these hot topics, because I'm sure you're going to have something to say about these, because they're real ratchet. So, and I'm sure you know what ratchet is. So first things first, I heard Megan Thee Stallion got shot a couple weeks ago. Did you know that, LaShawn? Did you know that?
Probably not.
Oh, you did it! Oh, man.
Do you know who Megan Thee Stallion is?
No.
Beth, do you know who Megan Thee Stallion is?
No.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Beth.
Let's leave it up to our millennials to tell us what happened, who Megan Thee Stallion is, and what had happened. Jerry, you start.
Well, Megan Thee Stallion is a rapper from Texas. One of her big hits now is the Savage remix with Beyonce.
Y'all know who Beyonce is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
Beyonce song right now is Savage remix featuring Beyonce, who's also from Houston, Texas. Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez have been hanging out within the past few months, and to me,
wait a minute. You gotta say who Tory Lanez is. You can't. They don't.
That is.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You don't know. You know who Tory Lanez is?
No, it don't matter. No.
Tory Lanez is an R&B singer.
I just kind of got that.
Okay.
I just kind of got it.
Tory Lanez is also a singer. Up and coming, he's been around for a few years as well. They've been hanging out as friends. I thought they were just friends, and there was a night where him, Megan,
she did too,
were hanging out, and Megan Thee Stallion had got shot in both of her feet, and it was alleged that Tory Lanez shot her. We don't know why. We didn't hear his side of the story. Megan came out with a statement. She didn't really say who did it. She just said, what happened and the effect it had on her. She was like really, really upset. And a lot of people, like celebrities, were mocking her. And it was more so, people from the Black community. And people were upset about that. Comments made by 50 Cent. Drea went on a podcast and, mocked it, saying she was kind of like in some Bobby Whitney type of situation. Chrissy Teigen made a comment, and I feel like there's somebody else I can't remember.
See, Teigen's too old for that.
Yeah. And like
She's commenting on rap.
I don't think that Chrissy Teigen was trying to. She had made a joke and she said it was a bad joke, and she
it was
apologized.
bad timing,
Yeah,
right?
it
It was
was
more
just
so bad
yeah.
timing.
Yeah,
It wasn't a joke that couldn't have passed. Everybody was like, I mean, I would have said that joke now too. Like I was about to say she got twerk to do. You just shot her on the foot. I was now I have to think about that, but
Just Hilarious. That was the other one.
And Just Hilarious. Just Hilarious mocked
I didn't
it.
hear about Just Hilarious either.
Just Hilarious mocked
it.
So she was kind of like investigating. So here's where I'm at with it. She gave this full, not a confession, but she kind of told her story on social media. It was pretty emotional, but she did not rat Tory Lanez out.
No,
so we're still sticking to the code. This is somebody done shot you in the pinky toe. They done shot you in the pinky toe. That's from Coming to America for those millennials.
That wasn't Coming to America. That was Harlem Nights.
Okay, I was just checking, y'all. I was making sure y'all knew what y'all talking about.
Wrong Eddie movie.
Anyway,
wait a minute.
Anyway, it was still Eddie Murphy. Anyway, so she still didn't say who shot her. I mean,
you know why? You want to know why I think that she hasn't said anything? Because I think we have to read between the lines with it, because Tory hasn't made any posts in a mighty long time. He was arrested, and I'm sure that his lawyers are advising him not to say anything or talk about it. Nobody is, because she did say that this was unwarranted. She didn't do anything to anybody, and even if she told him no, she didn't want to be bothered with him. She didn't deserve to get shot in her foot. I think she's not saying anything, and everything is being alleged right now because it might be in litigation, it might be under investigation and stuff like that. And you know that they always advise celebrities not to speak on incidents of law and order and stuff like that.
Sorry.
Okay, I got something to say.
Go ahead, Chatter Chick.
Who raised them? What are we talking about? Two people that are dating and someone shot somebody, and so she doesn't want to say anything about someone that shot her. Lo and behold, he can come back and kill her. Who raised her? Who raised him?
His factory self is not coming back and shooting Megan.
Did you just say his fat? We apologize for all those who are 5'3".
Well, it doesn't matter. 5'3", he had a gun. It doesn't matter how tall you are if you have a gun.
So here's the thing.
He's not coming back.
I don't get it.
Here's the thing,
and they weren't necessarily dating. That's not confirmed either.
It was just alleged, but this type of thing happens every day.
Turn my mic off.
This type of thing happens every day, where we have these couples who get into a fight or friends who get into a fight and one of them shoots the other. And although they're up in the hospital and they're fighting for their life, whether it's major or minor as far as the injury is concerned, these people are still sticking to the code.
Domestic violence.
And, you know, it makes it hard for detectives to figure out what crime and who should be charged. It makes it difficult. And then it puts a black eye on other domestic violence situations.
Right. It doesn't help when the injured victim stays quiet against the perpetrator. That doesn't
We said the same thing.
I don't think she's staying quiet because it's really a no-brainer. It's just like she just hasn't confirmed that he was the one who pulled the trigger at this point. The only two people in the car was her best friend, and Tory. And never. Like, who else is going to shoot her in the feet? Like, it's not anything to say, well, I'm joking and saying, who shot Megan? Because it's like, we all know who shot Megan. Tory shot Megan. But for whatever reason, I'm sure that'll come to light.
I'm sorry. I'm not ride or die. I am not ride or die. I am
so sorry. My dog just scared the crap out of me, and I got scared. I thought the right was coming to get me. But no, I mean, I'm not telling. But if my lawyers are advising me not to say anything on social media because the blogs and the websites who haven't even really been supporting or talking about it in the first place, because she's been so hush hush about it and say anything, I don't have to tell y'all, which y'all already know. Like, he was there. He shot me. Okay, y'all know he shot me. He got arrested for it. I didn't get arrested. There you go.
So it's kind of open and shut.
It's open and shut. We're going to go through our situation that we got to go through. When I'm ready to tell the world my private affairs, even though I'm a public figure, then y'all going to have to just wait.
I hate to turn this not so funny story into something kind of serious, but just comparing this type of story to all these everyday stories. And Beth, you probably are familiar with a lot of these scenarios when it comes to domestic violence. If the female is wrong, or if the female turns, then the community turns against them. If you snitch, then the community turns against you. And it makes it real difficult for people to, I'm only doing this because we have Beth who represents the police review board.
Right, I'm sure she's seen her fair share.
And so, I mean, again, celebrity or not, it makes it difficult for authorities, detectives, and lawyers to do their job. So whether she said it or not, this has been going on way too long. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but wait, the cops are investigating it. So it's not a not snitching situation if the cops are doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the information. We just don't have privy information because we're not in the situation.
So people listening I get that, but for people listening and knowing that there are scenarios closer to home, such as this, what is the message that we need to get out to people if they've ever witnessed or know or been in a situation like this? They got
to tell the cops. You got to tell them. Because, a while ago, there was an accusation that a police officer had beat up his girlfriend. Well, she was pretty common. I mean, we found a whole lot of the PFAs against city cops. But that led to an officer-involved domestic violence policy in the city. And in the course of developing that, learned a whole lot about the danger that the victims are in immediately after an incident, and then what they have to worry about beyond that. If somebody's arrested, like here, a guy might be arrested. When he gets out, he's going to be furious. And so a PFA can only do so much. It's like it may or may not protect. So if you tell, you put yourself in danger. If you don't tell, you remain in danger.
Yeah.
This is a tough situation for our victims of violence.
Yeah.
Of domestic violence, especially. I just saw today there was a 27-year-old African-American female deputy who I can't remember the town she was from. It wasn't here. And she had a PFA against her ex-boyfriend. He got pissed off and he comes back and he killed her. Yeah. She was a beautiful young woman, and she was a police officer or a deputy or something, and she's gone, but she did everything right. And she was top. She was law enforcement. And still, the batterer won. He killed her.
Right.
Even though she did everything right.
I know. I can understand why people don't say anything in that case. I mean, I've never been in a domestic situation. I mean, praise God for that. But I do sympathize with the women that have been, and I do understand their plight whenever they don't say anything, because that is very difficult. I know of a young lady who did everything right, just like the way you said, and she planned her getaway to the T. And just so happened while she was doing her getaway, someone said to her husband, what are you, just happened to see him and said, oh, you guys are moving out in the middle of the, where are you guys going? I saw some moving in the middle of the night.
Oh, are you serious?
And he came home and he got her. And it was so sad. It was so sad because she planned it. She planned everything, and he killed her in front of the kids. So, when I hear of women going through that, that's why I'm always like, I don't, it's so hard, and it's even more hard. And we'll talk about this a little bit later too, when it comes to the police officer, especially if the perpetrator is a police officer, they stick together.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a brotherhood. It's a power
really
thing. Yeah.
Well, remember Cassandra Wade? Y'all remember Cassandra Wade? And when she was killed, over on what street was she on? Shetland. Over on Shetland.
And
that was years ago. Yes.
Yeah. Well, remember that? She came back. He came back, or rather, he came. He was there. She calls for help.
Right.
The cop rolls up, and then he tells the cop everything's okay.
They left.
It's all right. The cop left.
Mm-hmm.
We find Cassandra Wade dead in front of her Christmas tree the next morning. He went over to his apartment in Homewood, SWAT surrounded, and he killed himself.
Yep. I remember that.
Yep. And she did everything right too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, whether you go to the police or you don't go to the police, how do we protect ourselves? Like, how are we protected?
Don't deal with nobody.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Don't date.
Don't date them.
Just don't date.
Don't date them.
Don't date.
Run.
Don't get married. Just
run.
Join a convent. Just don't.
Just like, all right.
Look up the PA docket.
Right.
If he got any prior domestic, like that's one thing you really could do is look him up on a PA docket. There's an app.
You could do a background check on
Be a background. When I lived in Baltimore, that was big. As soon as if a female met somebody, the first thing was like, "Did you do a case search?" Like, what's that? No, you got to do a case search. My mother. This is before she got married, and we only have a minute left. But this is before she got married. She was dating this guy, and I didn't know who this man was. I was living in Baltimore. She's here in Pittsburgh, and so she was telling me. I said, "What's his first and his last name?" And I called my friend and was like, "Here's his name. Run his information." Yep. She was like, "Girl, he just got some bad credit and a couple parking tickets." She said, "But he's never been in jail." I said, "Well, praise the Lord, but he got bad credit, so she'll need to be with him anyway."
Hey, that's hilarious.
Jokes aside, if you are in a situation where your life is, you're fearing your life, you're in a domestic violence situation, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. We're going to take a quick break. We are here with our special guest, Beth Pittinger. She is the executive director of the Citizens Police Review Board. Let me tell you how many times I had to rehearse that one without stuttering. Yeah. And Miss Beth, we're going to read some fan mail.
All right.
This is the fun part. This is fun because our people that write emails are special. So yeah. We'll be right back. It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast on Urban Media Today.